Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say? You'll have to forgive me. I'm being a little silly tonight because it's Saturday. And hopefully I'm going to get done a little bit early and spend some time with my husband. So, kind of in a little bit of a happy mood. And being a little bit silly. So, we have tonight the Seven of Cups, which has to do with debauch. Okay, and the card looks a little bit swampy, looks a little bit maybe like, you know, things are a little bit overflowing, getting a little bit well, this is what I think of when I think of it. When I have all of my best intentions to cook a bunch of vegetables and eat a bunch of fruits, and then I go to the store, I buy a bunch of stuff, things get busy, and then they sit, and some of them are, you know, they go past their prime a little bit, right? And so they start to kind of go into a place of being a little bit slimy, maybe a little bit moldy, and then, you know, you can't always do too much with that. So, you know, I think when I see this card, it's like, okay, we have to remember to temper ourselves, right? Slow it down a little bit. And so I want to look at this starting right here. I see a person who looks like they're maybe wearing a dress or a robe. They're hand in hand with, ooh, and what does that look like? It kind of almost reminds me of Krampus, if you've ever seen the imagery of Krampus, which is kind of a, it looks like some kind of demon type thing, has a relationship to Christmas, and I feel like is German in origin. Maybe like, it's not, I don't think it's Swedish. Some kind of maybe Nordic, I don't know, but I think German, and has the little bag and the little sticks and whatever. But in this case, we'll just say this is kind of like a traveling kind of devil type character archetype, maybe kind of you know, something that is a little bit like it's luring you into maybe some poor decision making, or you know, your attention is kind of there's this sense of distraction. I feel like you know, maybe you are in a relationship, maybe you're not. Okay. Maybe this is kind of somebody or something that is really has come into your life and can be quite enthralling, very charming, a little bit enchanting, possibly. I feel like there's almost a sense of pretty serious, it's not flirtation, but just a feeling of excitement to be doing this, whatever this thing is, or in communication with this person, being with this person, okay? And this could be that you have like a new hobby that you are just all in on. And so much so, like, I think of maybe like, I don't play video games, but I do know that sometimes when people are big gamers or whatever, they get a new video game and they get so into it that everything else kind of, you know, is like the outside world is just shut off. Sometimes during the winter, I feel like this when I'm watching a TV show. Back when I had time to kind of, you know, binge watch like a whole series or something, I would just be, you know, totally invested. But I feel like it's not that this is necessarily a negative dynamic in nature, but I feel like there's like, you're walking the line of this almost becoming like obsession. Okay. And that's kind of where that like devil energy comes in. It just is so attractive, right? And it feels nice, and it's, you know, and it maybe if you are in a relationship and this is a person, like a good friend or somebody you work with, you talking to them a lot or whatever it is, it can begin to put a strain on other parts of your life, but also your relationships, maybe your primary relationship, okay? And it might be totally innocent. You just really like talking to this person. You relate. They're easy to communicate with. They, you know, maybe you have things that are in common. But, you know, there's, again, that sense of needing to temper self, to be kind of self-aware of how much time and effort you're putting into this interaction. Or, again, if it's, you know, like a hobby or something you've been doing that you really enjoy, not going so far into it that, you know, it takes over all other parts of your life, or that you burn out on it quickly. Okay. And so let's see, what else do we have? Well, and up here I kind of see a shovel, and, you know, I'm sorry, but it really does feel like almost a sense of, you know, be careful so you're not like digging your own hole. We also have a bird. We have another bird. No, sir. I know you love coming up there, but please go eat your food. Thank you. We have a bird, another bird, and maybe even a third bird here. And I feel like it's, you know, it's like this message, the kind of, maybe it's not like direct communication, but like almost kind of like, you know, if you have a partner or something that is kind of just giving off like a signal, like annoyed that you're like always talking to this other person, or you're always like, as soon as you get off of work, you're like running to go. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to come down on gaming people, but you know, that's just kind of the thing that came to mind. For me, it's gardening and being outside. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'll be right back. You know, I'm gonna start doing dinner or whatever, and then I'm outside for like another hour and a half or something because I'm, you know, watering and looking at the flowers and weeding and, you know, rearranging things. And next thing I know, you know, my husband's looking for me. He's like, hey, are we gonna have dinner? You know, and so it's really this kind of like, sometimes we just need to be aware, more present in what's going on, not getting so lost in our own things. Not that it's a negative thing. We all need our places. We all need to have friends, well, you know, people to talk to, or places to be able to express ourselves and things like that. But, you know, it can easily sometimes it can easily become something that becomes a little bit destructive or destabilizing. Okay. Now let's see. Yeah, what are we seeing here? This one almost looks like, it makes me think of like a werewolf on top of a person, like attacking somebody. Like they're laying back and their hair's down here, and this looks like some kind of dog, right? With the little tail, and it looks like, so, you know, I really think that this really just comes down to fighting this impulsive kind of impulsive, compulsive, habitual, maybe becoming habitual, fighting these tendencies. Okay, and we do that by being aware and claiming them. Okay, talking about it. You know, having somebody to check in with. If it comes to that. And, you know, as some of you know, I have talked about this on the channel quite a bit here. I'm in recovery for substance abuse. And, you know, pretty soon I'll hopefully, you know, God willing, be at 10 years. You know, it seemed like it's coming a lot faster than it was at the beginning, right? Those first years are difficult, and you know, it can be difficult at all times, really, but you know, we learn how to kind of live in our recovery, hopefully. And so you know, I fully get this, like, you know, getting obsessed and compulsive and just always wanting to do the same kind of things over and over. And, you know, then realizing like, hey, I've been neglecting like these other responsibilities I have, or, you know, I could have spent my time more mindfully. I could have, you know, done things that, you know, were more helpful, to just my life in general. You know, so I feel like I understand this beast, fighting this beast off, trying to learn to balance, you know, where you're putting your energies and efforts so it doesn't overtake you, so it doesn't, you know, become that thing that werewolfy thing that bites you and then kind of turns you over into just another. I think that's a werewolf. Do werewolves turn people? Yeah, right? You get bit by a werewolf, you become one. So just being vigilant about your decision making, your time management to some degree. When you start to feel yourself getting lost in these kinds of behaviors. And I don't think that this is, you know, something so far out of the realm of understanding for an Aquarius. You know, I myself am an Aquarius moon. So you know, and a lot of Aquarius people I've met, although not usually super out of control or anything, have their proclivities for things, as we all do, but can become kind of quietly obsessed with things, quietly compulsive, quietly kind of entangled in these loops of behavior and impulse and whatever. But so often it is kind of you know, hidden away, less problematic than most people would imagine. Things, you know, like, oh, this person is, you know, they don't go to work anymore, they're, you know, not taking care of themselves or whatever. And that's like, you know, the marker of somebody who's really lost themselves. But then there are people who have these kind of addictive qualities at times, maybe not full addiction, but that are high functioning, right? Or they're into things that people that are acceptable, you know, collectively acceptable things. And though it can become a burden to the individual, most people are like, oh, well, they're just, you know, really into whatever this is. And you know, here they're spending all their money and time and efforts on, like, you know, I think a lot of times things like shopping, this can be a big one, right? You know, that is something that can be really insidious, because people don't always know, you know, the scale of it. So anyways, I think that just being really, really honest with yourself, if you feel it's getting to a point where you need some kind of assistance, looking for some kind of counseling. I know a lot of people don't like 12-step, but I think that even just the literature, there's, you know, different kinds of groups for all kinds of things, you know, love, shopping, debt, substance abuse, eating, whatever it is, okay? There's somebody out there that, you know, shares your difficulties, and you know, you'd be amazed at the fellowship and camaraderie and friendships you can make in these kinds of support groups, even if you feel like, hey, I don't meet the criteria, right? Sometimes we just need to go somewhere where we feel heard, okay? Or that at least we can listen and we hear little tidbits of things that are like, okay, I understand that. That might be something I can try for myself, right? But also, you know, I think that a big thing too is just something I've been focusing a lot on, just in general, a theme that has come up in my life this last couple weeks is this idea of refrain. Okay, sometimes it is really interesting to almost as like kind of an act of ritual, making a sacrifice from your life, something that you love to do, something that is habitual within your life, you know, and tempering it, okay, or refraining from it completely. The one that I use a lot as an example on here is like quitting drinking pop for a while. Okay, or sugars, or smoking, or, you know, whatever it is. Refraining from something that is not super serious, but something that you do enjoy. And sometimes making these little you know, these little sacrifices in our life, it really helps with a sense of control and kind of getting centered again. Okay. And, you know, I think it's something to think about and try. I like to try to do these kinds of things, you know, at least seasonally do something. And then at least once a year, something bigger, you know, one that, and like I said, the soda thing, the pop, for me, it was, quitting drinking it altogether. Here now I have it once in a while when we, you know, go out to eat or something, but that was my big one. I think was it last year or the year before? So you know, I think just these little acts of mastering, right, of really, you know, having a really intentional and active role in your reality, your direct reality. Okay. And let's see. We're gonna go down here. And I see this beautiful, we have this Trinity, okay? And it seems like it's mirrored here. So there is a beautiful symmetrical balance of the above and the below. And I really feel like things are just going to come back into line, you know, so quickly. I think just a little bit of adjustment here. Again, the being mindful. I think also with the Trinity, it really makes me think that there's this activation of spirit and spirituality, expressions of your spiritual lifestyle, you know, whatever that means to you, if that's meditation, ritual, you know, things like yoga, intentional movement, you know, whatever it is. I think going into these kinds of practices as a, not just a, it's not a distraction, but as a place to put those energies that are kind of being spent on these more compulsive behaviors. Okay. All right. So I want to go ahead and thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel get into the algorithm. And as we all know, the algorithm kind of rules everything. And so any kind of engagement really like makes it happy, basically. So if you, you know, want to share the video around somewhere or subscribe to the channel, you can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. Between now and the next one, you can watch your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising, Venus, do some cross watching. And other than that, if you want to leave a comment, I read every single one of them. You know, these kinds of connections I am building with you all really means a lot to me. I feel like I'm getting to know some of you so well, and others of you are so generous with your personal stories and, you know, just kind of talking about the things that resonate with you, the things that you're seeing in the cup. I love hearing what shapes and symbols you are perceiving. And, you know, I think that a lot of you would make great readers. So I always love to think that some of you will go out and try reading tea leaves yourself, even if it's just for fun. Other than that, if you... well, that was it, right? Yeah, leave a comment. But we will talk again really soon. And again, I'm so thankful. All right, talk to you soon.